we've arrived at the 1960s. There are two ways to view the 60s. One is the 60s that was mod, 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 that was different, that was youthful, that was colorful, and a certain amount of fun. And frankly, from the point of view of living today, a little tacky. And then there was the 60s that changed everything. And that becomes the 1960s, the later part of the 1960s. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. Instead, I have provided you with a link to a documentary, PBS documentary about it. Documentaries today in the second, here at the end of the second decade of the 21st century, documentaries are a pretty good portion of the entertainment that we have at our disposal. This is a somewhat earlier documentary made in I think it was 2005, but it takes a really good look at everything that happened in the 1960s in terms of the change, the effects of the Vietnam War, the effects of civil rights, the effects of the effort for women's rights and gay rights, and the farm workers. There was a huge amount going on. There's a huge amount of what at the time was called either civil unrest or riots, depending on your point of view. There were assassinations. It was a lot that happened, and it was a time that was both terrifying and in some ways exhilarating. So for those of you who are younger, it might put some things in perspective that you've only heard about. And for those of you who are older, it might give you a different look at things that you might have already assumed. Try as you're looking at this not to make assumptions, and be aware from the point of view of this class that that everything changed because of this period. The way we looked at our entertainment changed. The kinds of things that we wanted for entertainment began to change quite suddenly and quite drastically. The seeds for that perhaps were there before, and you can be thinking about that. But moving forward from this time, be aware of how the events that you're going to see portrayed and talked about in this documentary, be aware of how those are affecting the things that you see afterwards, particularly in television and film, but also in theater and eventually in comedians, the last 4 areas that we're going to cover. One piece of advice that I have for you is that because there is no PowerPoint with this, you might want to take notes, because you don't know when something might have some bearing on something that you're going to be looking at later on that you might want to refer to, and at least a note will give you some idea of where it is. The video will always be there for your benefit. You can go back and look at it again, but it's pretty hard to find something in a video as opposed to finding it on a PowerPoint. There are only 2 questions in the discussion this week. You'll take a look at them. They're really set up so that both of them can be addressed by each of you. And I hope that you have a good discussion around it.